I love it. I love it. I love it. It's time for
It's
nothing
what?
but the truth. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We are
Malika.
back and ready to rumble. We've got more good information for you, good inspiration for you. And tonight, gather round, pull up a chair, tell mama and daddy, lottie dottie, and everybody it's time for another edition of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Teasha. We're gathered around the microphone. I'm going to give you to Sister Teasha in just a moment to take you further into the announcements, the progress, the process of what needs to be done here. But we want to just tell you how grateful we are to have made it to another Thursday. You know, things are happening so fast in this world out here. It's hard to make it from Thursday to Thursday. And I'm telling you that we've got plenty to do tonight. So our guest is in the studio. She's ready to roll. She's in place. We have the mystery man behind the controls. And, if the mystery man was somebody we knew, if he was somebody who we had spoken to or something, about playing the whole record from Brother Gary, because, the mystery man, it's not like he's a pro DJ or anything. He's a production guy. It's not like he's a DJ that could play the whole song for us or anything. But we really, really appreciate the mystery man. We're back also with Brother Harold B. Having another Farrakhan day there in Greensboro, North Carolina. Good to see you, Brother Harold. Sister Teasha, who else is on the line with us today? Anybody else from around the country that we need to shout out? I think I see. Wait a minute. We have the great Shantae Gillum Turner with us tonight from Arkansas. We have her with us. We're glad to see her. Glad to see you, Shani. Everybody, come on in the room. We've got more conversation to have this evening. Teasha, what do people do next? What do they do?
Well, guys, you know what to do. To start it off, I want to remind everybody to help us grow this platform. And by doing that, all we ask is that you like, share, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms. You can start right here at Facebook, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe. Then go on over to YouTube, our YouTube page, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha, and do the same. And again, don't forget, we're going to set up a new Facebook page for the show, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha, because the old one got hacked. But right now, you can go to my page, Teasha Muhammad, like, share, and subscribe.
Okay. That sounds like what we're going to do tonight. Let's get started. Let's get into it.
Yeah,
at the top of the show, we always talk a little bit about what's been going on in the world and how it affects us in our households. Last week, we spoke at some length about the preparations that we need to make for ourselves financially. Previous to that, we talked about the survival preparations that need to be prepared for our homes in terms of saving and canning and moving things around in our households to get us ready to do the things that we need to do.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure that tonight, as we recap, we prepare in another way, a way that is really, really important. It's the most important decision you'll make in your life after choosing to follow and obey God.
That's
I
right.
got that from Brother Student Minister Nuri, and I think he makes a lot of sense when he says that. After your choice to submit to God's leadership, the next most important choice you make is the choice of your spouse, the choice of the person that you will spend your life with. Is this where the violins come in?
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Like that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. But this choice that you make about who you'll spend your life with is very important, and many of us are not getting it right. We're walking into a decision-making situation not having analyzed any of the facts, not even having thought about how we feel. And so therefore, we are, what is he in line?
He ain't lying.
Oh, he ain't lying.
Yeah.
Oh, you speak that.
I speak, Brother
All right,
Dave.
very good. You read it too, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Dave C. He ain't lying. And I'm not. We go into this decision often ill-prepared, unprepared, misprepared. And so tonight we want to take some steps toward a better preparation. We know that you want us to get right into the guest segment.
Yes.
And so in order to introduce our guest to you, it gives me pleasure, honor, and is my great privilege to turn over the introduction of our special guest tonight.
Oh, wow.
To the co-hostess with the mostest.
Yes.
Yes, her name is Sister Teasha Muhammad. Team,
Okay.
who we got with us tonight?
Assalamu alaikum again, everybody. I don't want to belabor the point. I want to get right to it and introduce this superstar that we are about to bring back to Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha. You know her. We all know her. She is the author of Relationship Talks. It's got a little glare, so I'm just back it up a little bit. But don't worry, we'll show the flyer later so you can get your own copy. But we all know her. We don't want to waste any time. We want to bring her on because she's going to do an awesome question and answer session today. So we want to get as much time going as we can. Let's bring on our guest. You ready?
I'm ready.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please.
that was a drum roll. I did it already. Okay. Katrina Muhammad.
Yes, indeed. Yes, she is.
Claps.
All right. Welcome, sister. Welcome back. We should say welcome back home.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
You all
as
look
we
so beautiful. I just love watching your show. I love it.
Great.
I love it so much.
Thank you so much. We love having you on the program. And as one of our anchor guests, a recurrent guest to the point where we really can't call her a guest. You know, she's a part of the Nothing But the Truth family because what we rely on you to do is to spark discussions
Wonderful.
that may start families on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And my first question to you tonight is an easy question for many to think they know the answer to. But I know you've considered it in light of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught to those of us in the Muslim community, those in the Christian community, those without any religious identification who just love principle.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, in choosing a mate, right?
Okay.
What are the main things that a person must be aware of about themselves in order to make the right choice of how to spend time with somebody else?
Praise be to Allah. First of all, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I want to just greet you again, you and all of the people watching you, all your viewers on Facebook, all the viewers on YouTube, your YouTube channel, which I subscribe to. So if you all didn't subscribe to it, please do that right now. But assalamu alaikum to everyone. I think that instead of me going off of the cuff of what's in Katrina's mind,
Mm-hmm.
I really want to be a good student and read to you something that this great man behind me, the two great men,
Right.
but specifically the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wrote in Torchlight of America. And I want to read this because, you know, how many times have we read Torchlight of America? Like probably many times,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, things jump out at you that you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't even remember reading that. Like, hold on,
Right.
run that back.
Mm-hmm.
So on page 99 in Torchlight of America, the chapter is called Promoting Positive Relationships Between the Sexes. And this is why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is so, divine and profound and has spoken on every single subject and why he was a big part of the inspiration for me to write the book Relationship Talks, in addition to my own experiences and trying to be prepared for my next marriage. But he says here, and by the way, this was highlighted by another good student minister Arif Muhammad recently, which is why it's like fresh in my mind. I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. I want to make sure I say this on the show. But he says neither male nor female can fulfill their relationship to each other until they are first properly connected to the source of all creation, which is God. I mean, there's more. I'm going to read a little bit more, but that right there, that sentence,
Right.
is everything. That is what they must know. That's the first thing they must know.
Mm-hmm.
Their creation, our creation, my creation, your creation, to Allah, to God. That's very important. Second one, this is why the divorce rate is so high and the dissatisfaction rate in relationships between the sexes is even higher. The
Mhm.
nature of male and female are different, but they are meant to complement each other. In the absence of knowledge, the different natures of male and female can work destructively against self and against the union of both. So that's important in terms of understanding our roles. The
Right.
male is not like the female. So, how can you develop a proper, healthy relationship as a spouse if you don't know your role in that relationship? So
Right,
that's
right.
important. And then he goes on to say the fundamental knowledge that is absent in male female relationships is the knowledge of how we should relate to God and each other. It is our disconnection from God that is at the root of failing and improper relationships between man and woman.
Hmm.
So he says, last sentence I'm gonna read, this is a very deep problem in the relationship between black men and black women. The human being has a grand purpose. It is wrong to take a woman or a man just for pleasure. Responsibility goes along with intimacy, caring and sharing goes along with intimacy. Every time you engage in intimacy without responsibility, without caring, without commitment, without sharing, without honest communication, it lowers your self esteem, your self respect, and your self worth until you begin to see yourself and others you see as a person without, you see yourself as a person without value. This is
Wow.
because every time we submit to our lower desires, we are actually beginning to make nothing of ourselves, while Allah God wants us to make something of each of us. You don't need a mate until you find out who you are. So I'm gonna stop it right there. So
Right.
I really believe many of us, myself included, I had a
Mhm.
car wreck. That's what the minister calls divorces, car wrecks.
Wow.
Um,
Mhm.
we failed to really properly understand ourselves, our role, and our connection to Allah. And yes, someone in the relationship may have fallen short of their duty. These things do happen. But when he talks about the divorce, which is so beautiful, he
Mhm.
talks about it from balance, from it being, yeah, somebody may have stepped on your shoes, but what did you do? Where was
Mm,
your connection with Allah? You actually chose that person. So what
mm.
was going on in your mind that you chose that person? You
Hmm.
know,
Right.
so because we're, spouses are a reflection of each other. So yeah, you have to know self and you have to know your connection to Allah first and foremost.
Wow. We are off to the kind of start that we promised you. This is Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha.
That's right.
You're listening to our guest, our special guest this evening, Sister Katrina Muhammad, the author of this volume right here, Relationship Talks. And we will flash the information on the screen a little bit later in the broadcast where you can get this particular book. If it's not in your library, be very careful.
Mm.
Trying to get married without this book is like trying to drive a Cadillac without the keys. You want to drive it,
Don't do that.
but it ain't gonna do nothing
Where they
unless you
do that
get
at?
the way to do that. So we want to do, well, actually they do it on Plymouth and Schoolcraft.
Oh
They
wow.
Yeah,
have they can drive a Cadillac. Never
yeah.
mind. But
Or
but,
the
but
Kia cars that you don't need a key. Here in Chicago, they just know how to like pop it
pop it
and
in.
take off with your vehicle.
That's something else we talk about on another show.
Yeah.
Letitia, did you have any questions that sort of were in your mind already tonight for Sister Katrina? I know that there is a lot that comes up situationally.
Mhm.
And the beautiful thing that I think about this book, and I know we had talked about it at the dinner table the other night, is that this book is not just limited to when you're preparing to
Right.
marry and then the day after your wedding, you put it
Mhm.
down and it gathers dust.
Right.
It doesn't do that because there's always some means, some way to put into practice the kind of communication and understanding that the book calls for.
Well, what I found out is more right, you can use it, well, you should use it in courtship. But once you become married, it becomes like a reference manual because you should refer back to it. Because I find some of the answers that I may have said in the beginning have changed once you get into the relationship because you've changed and how you look at things change. Because when you get in the relationship, you start to grow. At least you should, right? And so I may not, or you may not look at things the same way as you did at first. And one of the, I want to get into the section of the book called the variety pack question.
Oh yeah. That's
The
a fun.
variety, it's really fun, but it kind of intrigued me the other night when I was thumbing through it because in the variety pack section, it's a bunch of different sections all in one, like fast rapid fire questions. So
Right.
it's not just one subject where you can just get there and try to be cute with your answers. And how did I answer last time? Oh, I'm gonna make sure I sound this thing. Not in this one because she's throwing stuff that don't even match, and you
Right.
gotta
Right.
off the top of your head come with it. But one of them that stuck out, it was so hilarious because this is a thing with me and Mohammed right here. It was this one.
Well, which
And this
one was
wasn't an
that?
issue. This wasn't an issue when we were, in courtship because I didn't, you don't think about it. But as
Uh-huh.
you got married,
What number?
okay, a variety pack question, page 144, number 16.
Okay. And the audience should know that there's various chapters, but all the questions are numbered. So it
Yeah.
kind of helps you stay a little organized from that perspective. But number 16, go ahead, sis. Read the question.
What size bed and specific type of mattress do you prefer? Didn't bother me at first. It still doesn't bother me,
I
but
guess it doesn't bother you.
I think it kind of bothers him because somebody wants to tell me all the time that I take up the whole bed. And I'm
Right.
quite comfortable. I sleep the same way every night. I just change positions about 3 times, but it's the same 3 positions. You should be used to them now. And I don't think it's a problem with the mattress or the size of the bed, but that question kind of stuck out to me because he keeps bringing that up like it's a problem.
Before we refer the question to the author, may I have a word? It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's trying to get some rest.
Yeah.
But I've been relegated to an area of the bed equaling about 1/7 of its surface area. I have to turn on my side and rest one arm on the nightstand and hang the other arm off the bed in order to get some rest. Now, I'm not complaining
I
about
mean,
this. This is just the way it is. At 1:35 to 1:50 every night,
Like clockwork.
like clockwork, I'm going to feel a nudge and hear my wife's beautiful voice. And she's going to say, "Ha!" I'm going to be shocked and startled. And she's going to say, "You hot?" And I'm going to say, "No, I'm just sleeping." And at which time she'll get up and turn the ceiling fan on high.
Because it'd be hot. I don't know why.
And therefore, certain husband that will remain nameless is subjected to dry air, much like that of the Sahara.
So comfortable.
And so this is an issue. And so relationship talks brings out the issue.
You should have talked about that a little bit more.
And I don't know how we could ever brought it up because you all sweet. Oh no, I'm civilized. I'm just gonna sleep at night, and I'm just gonna. But it's just this, and then it's that, and then she looked like Rudolph and Kelly Isley. You know the Isley brothers, how they used to be behind Ron Isley when he was singing. Anyway, so Sister Katrina, if there were a couple like this theoretical, hypothetical couple, what could they possibly do to work that out?
So let me just say this part right here.
Not a problem.
Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad recently had a conversation with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he asked him, how do you get to know what you don't know? Okay, what you don't know. And he said, it presents itself to you. This is what the minister said. So it was presented to you. You didn't know your wife's sleep hygiene. Now it has now presented itself to you. And quite honestly, she may not have known her sleep hygiene. She may not have known that.
All right, that's true.
It presented itself to you. And I'm so glad you brought this question up because some people that peruse the book said, man, you have some questions in there that just seem really detailed and kind of like, why would you ask that question? What size bed and specific mattress do you prefer? Sister Katrina, does it really matter? A bed is a bed. But look here, when you have not slept properly, or you've been single for a while, you're not really used to another person in the bed with you, and you have different tastes and you're in different seasons of life or whatever is going on, where all of a sudden it gets hot in the middle of the night. A bed is not just a bed. Sleep
Right.
hygiene is very important because, I mean, there's been studies on this. If you go so many nights with improper sleep hygiene, or just not getting enough hours, or constantly being disturbed, and so you never enter that, what is it called, REM sleep,
REM sleep, yes.
sleep, then the next day you're still tired, you're maybe even cranky, you might even be in a fog where, you know, driving, working, everything is just kind of like a movie playing in front of you.
Yes.
And you're just kind of like, what's our brother? Do the right thing. What's our
Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Spike Lee.
You know, that famous that famous film scene where he's just kind of moving.
Right.
And you don't see him walking, but he's the character, and the film is just showing him just like moving and panning. You kind of feel like you're going through life like that if you don't have the proper sleep hygiene. So yes, you need to discuss mattresses, and if you're going through the change of life, and do you have a fan on all night? Amen to that, sister. I do too. Yes, ma'am. In fact, I got several fans all over the
Then get under two covers and be like, oh, it's cold, but the fan is right
I
on the
still have a cover, and you know, it is what it is. But you got to discuss that, you know. So yes, Brother Harold said a bed is not just a bed. It's not. And then also you have some people that need to sleep more propped up. That's more comfortable, for, you know, for them for many reasons. You know, as a healthcare professional, though, I would. That's a little concerning if someone needs to sleep propped up all the time, almost like sleeping in a recliner or something, because that's almost a sign of heart failure. So I would definitely, if someone is needing to do that, like they can't sleep, they almost feel like if they lay flat, they are out of breath, then I would definitely tell them you need to see a cardiologist, you need to get an echo, you need to check that out, because that is not normal. But yes, you need to discuss all those things. The firmness of mattress, and quite honestly, to solve the solution, brother Minister Jamil, I'm not going to get all in your business, but I would say compromise. Just get a bigger mattress, and then
We
that way,
did. But I got more space.
you know, you know, you don't have to have the arm on the
No, he
nightstand.
still
You
does.
know?
Still does.
I've gotten used to it. I like to feel that feel of the fresh, you know, wood.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And sleep is such an unusual state to be in that when you talk about it in a volume like this that deals so thoroughly with so much. And I love the way the questions are phrased here, because they're not exhaustive questions, but they're leading questions that lead to exhaustive answers. And those answers don't run out, because if we had answered the questions that we answered 2 years ago in courtship, now they're going to be different answers today, better answers, deeper answers, and answers with more information to really move us toward a greater success. Because you're not getting married with the idea in mind that I'm going to be out of here in 2 years, I'm going to be out of here 6 months or whatever. You're actually going to be involved in something that you want to last. So that's why we're so grateful for it. Brother Williams with us from Oakland, California, and he wants you to know he thanks Allah for you and for your book, sister. So he's very, very grateful.
Thank you for the support.
Yes, indeed.
I really would like to say that this book, first of all, number one, it is not an official manual of the Nation of Islam or anything like it. It's not. This is a book of questions that your sister have put together for herself, i.e. myself. And I started sharing these questions on Facebook with my friends, you know, on Facebook, you know how we do. And then there were people that said, wow, that's a really good question. I'd never really thought to ask that question before. And then I started sharing more. And then people were like, send me some more questions, like post some more questions. And so eventually there were people that said, wow, you have so many good questions. Have you ever thought about, you know, publishing these in a book? And at the time, that was the furthest thing from my mind. I would have just sent someone the manuscript of the list of questions to their email. I had not thought about actually publishing a book of questions. I'd never even heard of that. And then more and more people kept saying, this needs to be in a book. You should do it. You should do it. So I then started taking the study more seriously. And then I started researching divorce statistics. I started, yes, brothers can get hot flashes. I think so, but I don't know. I'm not going to talk about the brother side.
Especially if the brother's standing over beef brisket or some beef ribs on a barbecue grill and a smoker in the hot heat of Central Texas. Yeah, North Texas. I'm just saying, Brother Taiwan from Fort Worth just asked that question. So, Brother Taiwan,
and we know he could cook a great beef brisket. We know that. We've seen pictures of that. But so I eventually put all of these questions in a book, and I'm so thankful that you all support it. You've used it. But look at this book as almost like Cliff Notes. If anybody has gone to college and you've seen Cliff Notes, or even high school, the Cliff Notes to a book or a play or something like that. I mean, this is just to help you, help all of us, because, I mean, who can, honestly, a lot of this came from the research. People were like, did you think I interviewed people, and many people I interviewed, especially other divorcees, based on whatever their circumstance or situation was that they had happen in their marriage. I developed questions from that. Yes. And so that's where many of these questions came from conversation, from a lot of interviews and research about us, what has caused divorce in the Black community, and also in other countries. I was very curious as to divorce rate in overseas and other Muslim countries, and what have they done to resolve that problem. Like, for instance, in Iran, they have an actual department in their government that manages courtship and marriages. It's very interesting how they've dealt with that issue and problem. So we're not alone. We are not alone. This whole issue of marriage, divorce, the challenge of courtship, is everyone has experienced it. But there are some solutions. So this book was written and designed to be a help, a solution, a source, a resource, a cliff note to help you some questions so you can get to know your courtmate better. So thank you for highlighting that question. That's a fun question.
That is a fun question. It's really serious. I'm going to try to do better for you.
You have one more before the bottom of the hour?
I do. Well, we'll have to talk about it when we come back, because it's almost time for the bottom of the hour. But it kind of spins off of what you were just talking about. It's number 66 on page 148. I thought it was very interesting. It says arranged marriages last longer than when spouses make their independent decision. Why do you think arranged marriages have less divorce? I don't know. So I want to get into that when we come back from the bottom of the hour.
That's going to be something to hear, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of good ones in here. Hopefully after the bottom of the hour, we'll be able to take some questions from the audience.
Yep.
So that we can do a rapid fire.
And we see you in the queue lining up. We're going to try to get to all of your questions. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You're listening and viewing Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha. We're going to be back right after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
Except to share the broadcast.
Hey, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
We are back with more information from Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil
and Sister Teasha.
That's right.
Today, we're moving something in a way that we haven't in months. That's because the weather's warm, it's sunny, and it's time to get up and shake something loose. Not hard, but shake something loose and move, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Oh, I'm so excited to get out here and shake a tail feather.
No, you're not going to be doing that. No. That's what you're not going to do.
Shake something
no.
loose?
No. I meant something medical.
Okay.
May Allah bless you all to move something, stay healthy, stay strong, stay out here in the fight. Keep moving all the time.
You can do it.
You can do it.
All right. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, everybody, so we're still out moving something, and Hamid is not pleased because I'm running him to all these stores. We already been to IKEA, and he didn't love it. I don't know why. And now we're at the grocery store because he's out of yogurt, and I'm out of coffee cream, and this just can't happen. Hey, Hamid.
Yeah.
Are you having a good time?
Oh, yeah. I'm having a call. Yeah.
All right, and then after this, we'll go to Home Depot because Home Depot, they have some fresh flowers out, and I need another case thing for my, don't worry about it. I'll show you. And Hobby Lobby, but that's the last one, I promise. Not a problem, right?
No, it's not a problem.
All right, move something. All right.
2 hours later.
Okay, assalamualaikum, everybody. So we've been out all day running.
Yeah, all day.
It was good though. It was fun. It was fun running errands, and now we're back. So we're working our way back home, pulling our groceries, and I just wanted you guys to see Hamid's face because he had so much fun at the grocery store and at IKEA, my favorite store. He didn't get to go to Home Depot, but that's okay. I'll go tomorrow by myself with his card. Okay. All right. You don't want to go to Home Depot, right? You'll just give me your card. Is that fine? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Hamid? Hello?
That's fine.
All right. Assalamualaikum. Move
Games on
something.
tomorrow. Baseball.
I don't do that. I'm going to buy plants.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Assalamualaikum.
All day.
But it's so fun.
Yeah, it takes all day. The fun part of it's debatable, but we're talking tonight. We're not going to get into that tonight. We're talking with Sister Katrina Muhammad about relationship talks.
Yes, we are.
This is our sister of some repute. I want to talk a little bit before we get back into the text because Teasha has a question for you
Yes.
about arranged marriages, and we need to hear that. But your own qualifications, you might tend to undersell them in some views because you say, "Hey, I had a car wreck. I wanted to learn. I wanted to put these questions out to help other people." That might be an oversimplification, sister. What I mean by that is that your particular educational and professional background prepared you, I think, to be an author and to connect with your public. You are a Spelman alumna and a law school student and all of the other things that you have done professionally and academically that gave you a leg up, if you will, on getting a subject matter out to the people. And we always talk about how grateful we are for that that energy, that drive on your behalf. Do you see that as a part of what has made the book successful in terms of your previous experiences? Because if you say you had a car wreck, I know some people out here is evil Knievel.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about your experience?
All praises due to Allah. Thank you so much for mentioning Spelman, my beloved Spelman. I'm an HBCU grad. Yes, I was an English major and I did attend law school briefly. Decided that wasn't really for me. And I decided to go into education, and I was an educator for a long time. And now I guess I'm still an educator, but in the medical industry. So yes, I definitely think that my background played a big role because as an educator, we question things. We look if we had or have made a mistake, or if we don't understand something. The training as an educator is to look into that, to investigate it, to find out why, to be curious. We like to make sure we motivate our students to remain curious, to ask why, to go deeper, to research something, to look up all words. If you don't understand them, look them up. Just don't read by that and bypass that. If I'm saying something in the classroom you don't understand, raise your hand. There's no such thing as a dumb question, a bad question. And so with this study, I kind of went into it with the same thing. I thought of all kind of questions. I prayed to Allah, asked Allah to help me understand the various sections and problems in divorce in terms of the number one reasons. And so the book starts out with the finance chapter, because in all my research, finance was the number one reason why, or what was given by many divorcees of marital problems. The second one was communication problems. And the third, I think, was like infidelity, right? So I created all these chapters in the book and said, okay, Allah, thank you. All praises due to Allah. That's how I need to organize the book, based on the level of difficulty that people who have been married have expressed, and then come up with questions that are specific to that specific to that chapter or to that issue. So the issue of finance, the issue of friends and family, the issue of education, the issue of intimacy, the issue of diet, exercise, travel, privacy. And in privacy is the whole social media aspect to relationships now, because I mean that's a whole nother issue. Social media. I met couples that discussed and talked about refusing to give each other's passwords and
Mhm.
all of that, and and how just social media caused problems in their marriage. So yeah, it was quite fascinating to talk to many couples, and do a lot of reading about what was happening with other ethnic groups, other ethnicities, people living in other countries, how they dealt with issues or what was creating issues for them. And the book was designed with that in mind. So yes, my background that Allah gave me helped me put the book together. But I also had help from an actual team, because I believe, one person, there's very little you can do. But a team, if we come
Mhm.
together, there's a whole lot you can do. And
Right.
so you were one of the members of the team, Student Minister Jamil, and I'm so thankful you wrote the foreword. When I asked you to do it, I didn't think you would do it, quite honestly, but you read the manuscript like in one day, and
That's
then
right.
called me that same day and was like, "Sister, I would love to be a part of this." And I was just floored and so thankful to Allah. And then I had an excellent editor, Sister Karai Muhammad, who is a University of Michigan grad, and she has a background of being an executive producer at CNN. So, I mean, she's like super top notch. She's retired now, but I mean, she was so willing to help me out of Baltimore, Muhammad Mosque #6. And then also Brother Taiwan, who did the cover of the book, all of the graphics within. Brother Kofi. He's not in our community, but he's also a Muslim. And he helped me produce the book. And then I have to give a shout out to Ma Dukes, my mother, because she said, I helped with the book with the editing, but I didn't see my name. And when a black woman start going like this,
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
to correct the situation.
That's
And
right.
I said, "Look, Mom, I'm so sorry." So every time I give an interview, I will make sure I mention your name, Miss Helen Ross Jackson. That's right,
Yeah.
Mama.
The whole government name.
Say the whole name.
The
That's
whole
right.
That's
name.
right. She was like, "Make it clear, make it known." I said, "Yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am." That's all you're gonna say to
All
your
that.
mother is "Yes, ma'am." So I mean,
Yeah.
I just had a lot of love and a lot of support and a lot of help, and I'm so thankful. And the team, we all still support each other. So thank you so much.
Right. That's right. And it's a pleasure and an honor to support you. In fact, just a little behind the scenes before we get to the arranged marriages, because we have to go there.
And we have 2 questions also.
And we have 2 questions more.
Mhm.
But whenever
Okay.
we're in Chicago, the first arm of hospitality is always extended by Sister Katrina.
Every time.
She always looks out for us. She makes sure we got the right cup of coffee, got a good parking spot, whatever we
That's
need.
right.
And but that kindness, that sense of family and community and connection is essential to the success of any project
That's
that we
right.
do, but also it's essential to the success of your marriage and family. And that may be something leading into your question about why arranged marriages succeed more than just 2 individuals making a decision on their own. So, Teasha, I'm going to turn it over to you. You guide us through our next phase with the questions, and we'll be right to you in the chat. We see you, and we're
Right.
coming to you.
We got 2 questions right off the bat, and a statement from Brother William we'll review in the chat in just a moment. But we want to touch on this question about arranged marriages, because that's just so interesting to me, especially with somebody who thinks you always have to be in control of everything.
Mm,
Like,
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on now.
something in your throat. You want some water? Page 148, number 66. Arranged marriages last longer than when spouses make their independent decision. Why do you think arranged marriages have less divorce?
Some of my research on arranged marriages, and to be clear, I research arranged marriages and matched marriages too. But arranged marriages, many of those families were heavily involved in the arrangement. So I believe the divorce rate was lower with arranged marriages because you had people of similar backgrounds, of similar social status, similar economic backgrounds that were essentially pairing up their son and daughter to become a couple and carry on the legacy of their family. They were heavily involved in the courtship. There wasn't this go off on your own, unchaperoned, who knows what you're doing. No, no, no. There was none of that. It was definitely a chaperone. It was managed in terms of the couple. And there was premarital counseling. Like, there was a lot that went into it right from the beginning. And when you have similar families that are for the most part in the same church or mosque or synagogue or whatever, wherever they, worship, they really raised their children around each other. They made sure their children went to the same schools. They made sure their children participated in the same social activities. I mean, just imagine the commonality there when you talk about trying to find someone of whom you're compatible with. These parents almost made sure that their son and their daughter would be compatible with each other right from the rip.
Okay.
From the womb. And so that is part of the reason. But I also researched many of these arranged marriages. I mean, divorce was just not an option.
Okay.
There was an understanding that these two families wanted to join together, my son and your daughter, and that's that. We're together. We're a joint family. It was like divorce. It wasn't even on the table. It wasn't an option. We're getting married. Your son, my daughter, and that's that. And we're signing contracts. And I mean, but also these couples, they received a house from the parents. They received thousands of dollars in support. I mean, very similar to like The Godfather, that scene, the wedding scene.
Okay.
They were outside and they had these fat envelopes that they were giving to the bride. And it was just, it's very much like that. Like, there's a lot of support. The entire family comes together to support this couple, and they have nothing to worry about probably the first 4 or 5, maybe 10 years of their marriage. Literally, everything is taken care of for them to create success for them.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
imagine if every marriage had that.
Come on now.
The in-laws bought a home for the couple, a car for the couple, gave them about $20,000 to $50,000 in their account. I mean, just imagine how successful marriages would be with that type of start.
Yes, ma'am. And that's the power. That's
for
the
the
power.
first 10 years.
That's the power of it.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, and we hear about this especially in Los Angeles, in the large expatriate Iranian community. They often talk about how they'll buy the starter home, the $500,000 home, $600,000 home. They pay it off among their friends and relatives. So you live in that home until you can make some money and buy you a bigger one or a better one, $1 million or $1.5 million or whatever.
But you have zero debt.
Yeah, zero debt to actually build up and what we call stack, to stack your money and to come into what it is that you're going to do. And I think that's vitally important.
Is there a loophole? Like after 10 years when my money's low, can I divorce and start over?
No, because here's another thing I noticed about the arranged couples. They have an understanding that if the marriage runs into a problem, the families come together. They sit down with the families and say, okay, we're going to work this out. What's going on? Wow. And if somebody is going off and doing whatever, no, sir. You have a wife. You need to go home.
Right.
That's right.
Get it
That's
right.
right.
The movie The Godfather. Remember, he was at the woman's house and they were like, no. He said, I'm leaving the wife. This is who I'm going to be with. They said, no, we don't do that. You're going home right now.
That was the good fella. That was Goodfellas, actually.
Was that Goodfella?
That was good.
And so that was that. I mean, there's an understanding in those communities that family is everything. And you will not break up this family. We will not allow you to do that. And that's what the man and everybody gets checked. They're like, no. You all are staying together. That's all there is.
You're here on Nothing But the Truth. I told you tonight it would be power packed and explosive. What's in the chat, hon? What's going on in the chat? Let us know.
Brother Harold started it off.
Brother Harold started it. Okay. That's always what happens.
Poor brother struggling. wait a minute. How should a husband feel when the wife feels she has to order your food when at times when you go out to dinner? I have a problem with that. Harold, doing that out of the kindness of her heart.
Right.
No,
Golly.
no.
Some
She don't
would
want you to.
probably
She don't want you to
find
get.
that to be very loving.
She don't want you to eat something that'll hurt your stomach.
Let me say this in support of my brother. Just you had all the talk about that before you got to the restaurant. The man's in the restaurant so he can order what he want. He gonna order what he want. You gonna order what you want, and then you're gonna ask him for a bite of his food off of his plate,
that is correct.
even though you got a plate of your own, which is something that we don't understand. But we're gonna go back to that. I think we answered that question.
You know, one of the units for the MGT is how to cook. And so if you're out at a restaurant, the MGT is very hard for us to turn that off in terms of how to eat to live and what my man should be eating. And I want my man to be healthy. And so when you see your man about to order some fried chicken, you got to step in. You got to say, no, Muhammad, we're not doing that tonight. We're going to have the eggplant. Okay.
Oh man, I think I'm with Brother Harold on this.
But when you have now when you order the fried chicken and you order it at a booth that's not in the center of the restaurant, everybody know what you call that, right?
What?
A side piece.
Get out.
See, what? Did I say something? Is that corny or something? I don't know. Let's go back to the chat, huh? What else is in there?
I tried. I'm
Can I say something though? Also, I recently posted a question, and it may be in the book. There's over 2,000 questions in this book, so please forgive me if I don't recall all of them. But the question was, if your courtmate tells you they're on a budget, and we're assuming that this is the brother that's paying for the meal, and he says he can only spend whatever amount, and he tells the sister, please do not order anything that's over this amount. The question was, how would you handle that? And it was so funny, some of the responses from many people that didn't like that in terms of, someone telling them what they can order. So it's kind of in line with what the brother just mentioned of someone ordering for him or telling him what he can eat or whatnot. But it was a test in your ability to compromise and also to be understanding, with the other person, right?
Before you leave that question, Sister Katrina, if you have to tell the sister, don't order anything above a certain price line, the intelligent thing to do is to take her to a restaurant that doesn't have anything above that price line. If you don't take her to Ruth's Chris, trying to ball out with appearances and atmosphere, and then tell her you can have an appetizer portion of asparagus, and you must have lemon water. Don't do that. If you balling on a budget, take her to Golden Corral and be like, baby, get whatever you want. Get whatever you want, girl.
Get two desserts.
You want more banana pudding? What you want? Some chocolate fudge cake? Go on, girl. Tell her what you can get her, and then get it in a place where you can spend as freely as your budget would allow. Right. I just think that's intelligent. Right. If you're not going to Ruth's Chris, don't go to Ruth's Chris.
Tell them how to do it, Brother Minister. Tell them how to do it. I think that deserved an applause. For sure.
Praise to Allah.
Brother Mark's got the answer.
Brother Mark got the answer. That's my little big brother.
Yes.
Yeah, he's my little big brother. He told me I'm his big little brother, and he's my little big brother. But we always look out for each other. Thank you, Brother Mark, for the answer. Say if you're on a fried chicken on a 3-day fast, boom, there you go.
Yeah. Get the chicken and then go on a fast.
Get on the fast. What do you have?
Talking about food, can I read this one question before we go to the question in the chat? Question number 55 in the variety pack on page 147 reads, imagine your favorite pie, navy bean pie, apple pie, peach cobbler. If there's only one slice of pie left, would you eat it, share it, or give it to your spouse?
Well, if you want to ask me, I'll tell you, I'd give it to Teasha. You know why? Because I know she can't eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I get the generosity points, and I get the good part of the pie by the crust that's got enough of the fruit flavor to make it tasty.
Yeah, that's the
And then
best part. Yes.
So we have a working arrangement here.
I'll take a bite and be like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
and
good.
so yeah, we have a pie sharing system.
Yeah.
Here.
I would share though too.
Yeah, here at the Honeycomb Hideout, we share.
Honeycomb hideout. I love it.
So Brother Dave wants to know, Brother Dave C,
Uh-huh.
can we get our own, Brother Dave, come on.
What did he
Friend.
say? What did he say now?
Can we get our own closet space? I know he said it like that. I mean, without her stuff appearing in it.
And the
No.
capital out without her stuff.
Well, here's another way, Sister Katrina. And here at the Honeycomb Hideout, I have a closet.
Yeah. The whole thing.
My wife has 2 closets.
I mean,
and a room.
Yeah.
For her wardrobe of beautiful silk things like this she's wearing tonight and stuff. You know, she has stuff. And then no, don't touch that. That's the earring and necklace rack.
it is.
Oh, no. Don't touch that. That's for the silk scarves.
Yeah.
No, don't touch that. Those are for the heavy winter weight scarves.
Yeah.
And she has, I'm looking at some of it. She has this stuff organized. So, bruh, the answer to your question is
Need a bigger house.
Find something else to worry about, brother. Find something else to worry about.
No, we had this separated because I don't know. Everything has to be in this spot. We have to be able to glance and see where our scarves are and which necklaces we're going to wear and all of that. And this stuff is everywhere. So he has one. Yep.
Right, sis? The purses, the capes.
They're all hanging there.
All the
How'd you know about the purses and the capes and the shoes? How'd you know
I've
that?
got this heavy.
Yes, that's right.
The shoes. Okay. The shoes. The winter.
Yeah.
The fall and the spring coats.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you know what happened in one of my closets the other night about 2 a.m. we heard a big bang and I woke him up. Ham! I think the neighbor upstairs fell. He must have fell down the stairs or something. But I woke up the next morning and my closet rack had broke.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to move some
Another
of my stuff
shop to IKEA.
or you can share your closet.
Next question in the chat, please.
Whatever. Oh, I didn't see anymore. I was thinking about the clothes.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful book to have. Okay, let's go with Brother Williams' comment. He says, I prayed and chose to let Allah choose one for me because my eyes ain't too good, no ways. Going through those questions have really been preparing me to ask the right questions of myself. Now that's good because he's using the book to better himself.
And you know what? I heard that, Sister Teasha. There were people that told me, Sister Katrina, I got your book and I was prepared to, fill out some courtship application, whatever. And they said I started reading it and then I realized, there's some work I need to do on me first. And wow, like I wasn't expecting that. So all praise is due to Allah because like we said earlier, what the minister said in Torchlight for America, it's about you first and your connection with Allah, right? Mm-hmm. First, and you understanding yourself. So if you don't really know yourself and you haven't really done the work that you needed to do on you, why would you present a lesser version of you to someone else when you know there's some work that you need to do on you? Now, that doesn't mean sit around and wait forever.
Right.
Go ahead and get your blessing of the other second half of your faith, right? No, we're not supposed to be wasting time around here. We got a nation to build.
That's right. We got a nation to build and families to build and got
exactly. You can't be like, well, I'm still working on me for about, 40, 50 years and you've never been married. What is that? What is going on here?
What's going on?
What? So, but yes, I received that feedback from many people inboxing me and telling me that there were some questions that really made them take a look at themselves and made them work on themselves. All praise is due to Allah.
All praise is truly due to Allah. Brother Kenny has a solution when the problems arise. He says, take her to the picture show.
Not the picture.
The picture show. And Brother Kenny, put in the chat where you from, brother, because I have my ideas. Everybody know. But Brother Kenny said, take her to the picture show. And the picture show works miracles, I went, and I told this last week on the show, took my wife to the Equalizer 3.
Yes.
I still haven't seen that. Oh my God.
Not gonna tell the movie, but I will say this: that my wife started coming home and just grabbing my thumb, talking about, now see that's a two.
Yeah.
Then she I asked her one morning about which coffee creamer I want, and she said, "You have 9 seconds to make your decision." I mean, she was really channeling her inner Denzel.
Inner Denzel.
And just don't shave your head. That's all I'm asking.
We're almost to the top of the hour again. The show has to come to an end. I know. There's so many questions. We want to make sure you know how you can receive your own copy of Relationship Talk. What's that thing when he goes, "No, sir, my brother, you've got to get your own."
That's on the late night infomercial for the Soul Hits. Time Life Libraries presents the Delphonics.
No, my brother, you've got to get your own.
Yeah.
How can we get a copy of Relationship Talks, Mystery Man?
Very easily. Boom, there it is. Amazon.com.
Yes.
That's it.
So tell us about it, Sister Katrina. Just go to Amazon.com.
Yep, Amazon.com, type in Relationship Talks, and it should come right on up. Go ahead and request a lot of copies for you and your family. And then it will come to you in the mail. But $30 per copy. Thank you all so much for your support. And let me tell you, as many copies that people have purchased, believe me, I have given out almost the exact amount of copies. Because for me, it was never about making money to pay this light bill or something. It was about helping couples, giving us a tool or some information. So when we do sit down across from our court mate, we're talking about and asking some serious questions that maybe we couldn't think of or we didn't think of. This book was supposed to be used as a tool for that purpose. So the whole point is to help us. That's it.
No doubt about it. True story. I've been with Sister Katrina at a vending table where she's reaching in the box and handing out books and not taking back any payment. So I smiled at the people. Yes, yeah. Walaikum salam. And I said, "Are you just giving away the whole box of books?" She said, "Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm." She had something to say about how she was gonna. But sister, your heart is so good. We really appreciate you, because there's not a situation that arises in the life of any believer. And we don't preach on nothing but the truth. We don't do no preaching here. But I will say that when generosity is in the heart of a believer, then thanks and gratefulness occupy a place right next to it. So when you're grateful, you're generous. When you're generous, you're grateful. And you're building a step-by-step ladder up into a higher understanding of the God in you. My sister is working to build that ladder. She's building it rung by rung, and your generosity, I believe, will be rewarded. Your courtesy, your kindness, and your willingness to share.
Yes.
I believe it's going to be rewarded, because every time I turn around, you're saying, "We thank Allah."
Yes.
We're grateful to Allah.
Yes.
And that is the spirit. No preaching here.
To Allah.
Dave C, block all his comments right now, because I know he's coming. He's coming to block Dave C.
Dave C is trapped in the closet right now, trying to find space.
Trapped in the closet.
He'll be all right.
Do we have any last comments from the section before we wrap up with Sister Katrina? Because, as you know, she will be back. Please don't send us any mean letters or cards or email messages talking about why was she only on for an hour? Why was it not an automatic part 2? There will be. Why did she only? Because you get a little touchy. I know how you all are. You get a little touchy.
They want those questions.
Yeah, you're funny about your relationship talks. I get it, but go to Amazon.com.
That's right.
That's right.
Your copy of this volume and put it to good use on self, and then put it to good use on those who would abuse you by taking 6/7 of the bed surface area to themselves at night and turn it on.
The last slice of bean pie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep talking, Hamid. That nightstand is comfy, isn't it? Okay.
Stop while you're ahead, brother minister. Stop while you.
Be cool right here. Let me just be
All right,
cool.
family, we're going to wrap it up for another exciting edition of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil
And Sister Teasha.
We thank you again, Sister Katrina, for joining us this week.
Thank you,
Mystery
so much.
Man, for all that you do. Oh my gosh, for making
we
it do
thank the
what it
Mystery Man.
do.
She'll be back though. Look at that face. She'll be back.
Thank you.
Order
Assalamu
your
alaikum.
copy.
Walaikum.